After more than 3 decades in international trade, one change has become increasingly clear. Resource-producing countries no longer want to remain simply exporters of raw materials. In our first Euroyen Strategic Briefing, we examined why governments and major industries increasingly regard commodity access as a matter of national strategy. But security of supply is only one side of the relationship. Producing countries are also reconsidering what they expect from their natural resources and from the international partners seeking access to them. Welcome to Euroyen Strategic Briefing. I'm Juan Cabrera, and in the second edition, we examine why producing countries are redefining commodity partnerships. We also look at what credible international partners must now bring to the relationship. The traditional model was comparatively straightforward: extract the commodity and export it. Under that model, countries would simply receive the corresponding revenue. That model remains commercially important in the modern global landscape. However, many governments recognize that much of the economic value is created after extraction, through processing, refining, manufacturing, logistics, and technology. Producing countries may therefore seek investment in industrial capacity and infrastructure. They also want skills development and employment for their citizens. They also seek more meaningful participation by national companies and local industries. Indonesia provides a clear and contemporary example of this shift. The country possesses major nickel, copper, tin, gold, and bauxite resources, but its strategy is not based solely on exporting those resources in their original form. Indonesia has progressively connected mineral access with domestic processing, government-supervised export channels, reference pricing, and strategic industrial investments. Its deepening cooperation with China across minerals, energy, green industry, transport, and technology demonstrates how commodity relationships can become part of a wider framework. For international partners, this changes the route to market. An apparent mine mandate or commodity allocation may be commercially insufficient if it does not comply with regulations. Partners must now comply with the country's licensing, processing, export, and pricing architecture. Japan is considering a different but complementary model. The Japanese government has proposed expanding the authority of JOGMEC, its state-owned energy and minerals institution, for direct investment. This would allow it to invest directly alongside foreign resource owners without first waiting for a Japanese commercial company to participate. If adopted, this could create a more direct sovereign financing route for strategically important mineral projects, enhancing global supply chains. Japan could gain more secure access to essential minerals. The producing country could gain development capital, processing capability, and a structured route. Namibia is particularly relevant because JOGMEC has already demonstrated interest in the country's heavy rare earth potential. It's a key strategic interest. But strategic interest alone does not make a project investable. A credible proposition still requires a suite of verified data and rights. It requires verified mineral rights, reliable resource data, transparent ownership, a viable development plan, environmental and social controls, and a defined route to market. The same principle applies in energy. Petrobras, Brazil's state-controlled energy company, has received approval to enter direct negotiations with Ghana. This concerns 4 offshore blocks in the Keta Basin. This is not yet a signed petroleum agreement or drilling program, but a significant step. But if the negotiations progress, the project could require seismic capability, offshore engineering, drilling services, environmental work, and marine logistics. It demonstrates that resource development depends on institutional authority and capable technical partners, not simply access to decision makers. These examples involve different resources, regions, and institutional models, but they reveal a common direction in the global trade landscape. Commodity partnerships are increasingly being constructed around supply security, investment, processing, infrastructure, technical capability, and national industrial objectives. National priorities, however, cannot be inferred from a single statement, preliminary proposal, or headline. Partners must go much deeper. International partners must understand which institutions possess authority, what regulatory framework applies, and whether a stated ambition has a credible root. A memorandum of understanding is not yet a commercial agreement. Approval to negotiate is not a signed project or an approved funding commitment. For credible international partners, the commercial proposition is therefore changing. The opportunity now extends beyond simply purchasing the commodity. It can involve project finance, processing technology, technical services, infrastructure, logistics, long-term offtake, and access to international markets. Buyers want dependable supply. Producing countries want domestic value. Investors require regulatory clarity, project viability, and commercially sustainable structures. Euroyen operates across diplomatic, institutional, and commercial environments, identifying where sovereign priorities and executable industrial capability can be brought together. The strongest partnerships will combine reliable commodity supply with sustainable industrial and economic value in the producing country. Thank you for joining us.